Hello, and welcome to our presentation on Dionysus. This is Olivia, Nora, Caitlin, and Millie. So, Dionysus the Areopagite was a medieval theologian, mythical philosopher, and theorized Syrian monk. The more common Dionysus was a judge at the same time and constantly gets confused with Pseudo Dionysus. The true identity of this Pseudo Dionysus is still unknown, as their works were written as if they themselves were Dionysus. This was a common practice at the time, used as a rhetorical device to showcase the importance of the character they are writing as. Within their work, God is characterized and approached by negatives rather than positives or affirmations. They were born around the end of the 5th century, but because they wrote as Dionysus, their works seem to be much older.
They had many works, like the Celestial Hierarchy, the Celestial Hierarchy, and the Mystical Theology, among a collection of letters. One of their works is Divine Names. It was influenced by Neoplatonism, Plotinus, and St. Paul. Artists like Botticini have been painting the concepts found in the long treatise. We took a passage from chapter 4, section 1 of Divine Names and deciphered it. This work, while being one of his more well-known, is often the source of debate. This passage itself is often under scrutiny. The excerpt says, "Be it so then. Let us come to the appellation, good, already mentioned in our discourse, which the theologians ascribe preeminently and exclusively to the superdivine deity. As I conjecture, by calling the supremely divine subsistence goodness, and because the good, as essential good, by its being, extends its goodness to all things that be. For even as our sun, not as calculating or choosing, but by its very being, enlightens all things able to partake of its light in their own degree, so too the good, as superior to the sun, as the archetype par excellence, is above an obscure image, by its very existence sends to all things that be the rays of its whole goodness according to their capacity." In the passage, Pseudo Dionysus, through the metaphor of the sun, explains God's goodness. After establishing that God is good, they say that goodness, because of its inherent goodness, extends to all things much like, but not limited to, the sun's rays.
So, this is very fitting to the rest of his personal philosophy. They were a God-loving person, one that believes in turn, a loving God. They influenced the faith throughout their life, but made some significant changes, like shifting pagan Neoplatonism into complete Christian theology. They also created the framework and much of the vocabulary for spirituality moving forward, and they to this day still influence philosophers, theologians, and Facebookers alike. Throughout his life and his work, he displayed a love for God and philosophy. Pseudo Dionysus the Areopagite may have kept his identity in the shadows, but he was a ray for many of the faith. Thank you.